Hulk Hogan. What are your impressions of the Hulkster?
I think he is God's gift to wrestling, and I think I will never see. I don't bite the hand that feeds me, and I don't bite the hand that fed me. And in Topeka, Kansas, he got in the ring with the genius, Lanny Poffo, and he led me, a la Terry Funk, a la the late Gino Hernandez. He took the limited ability that the genius had to offer. He liked my gimmick. He scratched me down the back and he says, "I'll sell it like Jim Barnett."
I still remember that today. To this day, I remember yourself.
It was a fun match, but some of the boys said, "Well, it's not wrestling." Well, please, it may not be wrestling, but can't I be the only comedian in a very serious business?
Right.
See, I believe in variety. I believe when you go to the circus, you need the fat lady, and you need the flying trapeze, and you need the two-headed geek. Let's have it all, and then. Hopefully, as a paying customer, you might like one of them, or both of them, or either of them, or something. But if every wrestler wore the same colored trunks and did the same things, it wouldn't be special, would it? If we all had physiques like Lex Luger, it would no longer be different. Okay? I'm making an excuse for having a poor physique. But my point is, how can I ever say anything bad about Hulk Hogan when he actually got in the ring and did a job for somebody that couldn't even beat him to the bathroom if it were a real fight? Hulk Hogan was the man. And for one brief shining moment, he made the genius the man. And God bless Vince McMahon for allowing it to happen. And for not listening to any of the naysayers that thought that that Hulk was slumming by wrestling the genius. But he proved that even though I went to White Plains, New York about a year before, and Arnold Skolin came up to me and says, "Lanny, can you do me a favor? This is our hometown. Can you put my son over in a match?" And I did a job for George Skolin. And I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And then I wrestled the match. I went to the venues, and 300 Frisbees were there, and 300 Frisbees were sold. And fans came up to me and says, how'd you let that fat piece of crap beat you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a thin piece of crap, I guess."
Did you ever see any professional jealousy between your brother and Hogan?
I like to consider that question like a mud puddle, and I'm on a sidewalk. I like to walk around that. Okay. This is an election year, and I will reply to your question without answering it. Let's just say that it is human nature to have jealousy between great people. Right. Okay, and if there is any jealousy like that, since it's not the Macho Man here, and since evidently it costs more money to have the Macho Man here, why don't we wait until you can raise the money to put the Macho Man here?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right.
Rather than lie to you, I'd rather say I'm not qualified to answer.
Okay, not a problem. How hot was the Paul Orndorff Hogan feud for the company at the time?
Well, Hulk Hogan was just like Ric Flair. He drew money no matter who he wrestled. No matter who he wrestled. In other words, Ric Flair against a player to be named later in Charlotte would draw capacity houses. Well, that was the same type of drawing power that Hulk Hogan enjoyed. It didn't matter. And by the way, I forgot to say one more thing about Ole. Then, finally, I take you back now to 1977.
It's safe to say you and Ole won't be doing dinner anytime soon, right?
Oh, we'll be doing dinner. Yeah. We'll shoot for who gets the bill, okay? They finally put Ric Flair and Greg the Hammer Valentine against Gene and Ole Anderson. And they drew big time. And what do you think happens? Who do you think the fans made the babyface? The Andersons. I didn't give you a chance to answer. Okay. Anything other than the Andersons is not the correct answer. The Andersons were 100% babyface. And then the Andersons said, that means that the people believe in us more because they're cheering us. Well, wait a minute now. We have you saying that Ric Flair's not good because he may draw a sellout crowd, but because 30% of the crowd is cheering him, that he's not a proper heel. Now all of a sudden, he's completely being out-heeled. And not only that, he's claiming the house. Look at the house I drew, that we drew, and this is the Anderson's house. And, he's enjoying. So in other words, a bad house is an orphan, where a good house or a sellout house has many fathers. Everybody's taking the credit. Nobody's taking the blame. And Ole Anderson, there should be a picture of him when it comes to that syllogism. Okay? So Orndorff, how did the feud between Orndorff and Hogan get over was your question. And my answer was Hulk Hogan and anybody got over. And anybody that disagrees is either stupid, lying, or jealous. And that's just the way it is. And Macho Man had that same drawing appeal also.
Oh, yeah, definitely. What are some of your memories of Piper at this time?
Roddy Piper is the greatest, one of the greatest unique pieces of high energy that ever walked into a ring. When he got to New York, he had stopped doing the pipes. And I thought that was something missing. I didn't ever ask him why not, because I had too much respect for him.
Right.
Because as a worker or as a talent in this business, I didn't feel, even though I consider him my friend, I really like him. I still do. I thought that would be a disrespectful question to ask such a great talent who never did anything to me except try to help me. And whenever he wrestled me, he elevated me up to his level. And if I had, what I really appreciate about him, the reason I love Roddy Piper is because he went out of his way to call up the Garibaldis in Los Angeles. I forgot the promoter's name of who ran wrestling in Los Angeles. Who was the promoter?
Oh.
Anyway,
Shires?
no, that was San
San
Francisco.
Francisco.
I can't remember, but it was
LaBelle?
maybe Mike LaBelle.
Yeah.
He said he actually dialed the number and says, "Here's Lanny," and put me on the phone with him. And he had told Mike LaBelle that I could be their top heel, and he had it all straightened out for me to go in there, and they made me an offer, and it was absolutely nothing that I had done. It was Piper doing it for me because he could, because he had broken all the records there. That's where he cut his teeth. That's where he became known as a box office attraction. That's where he perfected his Roddy Piper gimmick before he went to Portland. And then I had the very sad news to tell him that I had decided to go to Kentucky with my parents and with my brother to start a territory. And I decided to handle it as a non-Richard Nixon person. I just went up to him, told him that, say, thank you, but, and I said, please let me, and I called Mike LaBelle, and I said, thank you for the opportunity. However, I've decided we're going into business for ourselves, and I appreciate, and he said, absolutely no problem. Thank you for calling me. That's very non-wrestler-like of you to address me and tell me you're not coming in. Usually, people just don't show up. You see what I mean? In other words, so I felt good about that I handled it like a man. It's just look a person in the eye, tell them the truth. I said, look a person in the eye, tell them the truth.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.